Either
Yeah, it's
way,
so great to have you here.
exactly. Metaverse Huddle, thank you for joining us. We're just waiting another couple of minutes, and we will start answering some questions.
Well,
Say that again.
we're doing the AMA for just you.
Just you.
So glad you joined.
Our amazing audience.
Man.
Great.
Thanks for being
Oh, there we
here.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you. What parts of the world are you in right now?
Austin.
Did you say Austin or Boston?
Austin, Texas.
Cool. Very nice. We got a global team here.
Did you grow up in Austin?
No, I'm actually from LA.
Oh, that's where we're from.
That's where
Yeah.
we're from.
You're one of the people that escaped out to Austin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, why'd you leave us?
Just taxes and work and the reasons.
Same.
You're one of the people that left us. Yeah, all the same reasons. Yeah. Austin is super cool though.
Mhm.
We're going to give a couple more minutes for the rest of the community to come, but we'll get started no matter what in about 3 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
We're going to try to just use this as a forum to answer the general questions we keep getting. We know that like everyone's on different time zones and probably a lot of people are asleep still right now or doing other things. So hopefully we'll be able to answer as many of your questions as possible. And this session will be useful for other members of the community moving forward.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah, and of course, anytime during the stream, feel free to ask your questions as well. We'd love to hear any feedback or things that you have to ask us.
Okay, perfect.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
How did you hear about us?
So I think I think my dad played golf with your dad, Ken. I'm not sure.
What?
Your dad, Tommy?
Yeah, is your dad Larry?
Yeah, that's right.
That's so funny. Hey, that's crazy.
Small world.
Yeah. Not all the time, but when I did that launch with crypto.com, I know he messaged me. And that's funny. Well, welcome. Small world. Feel free to invite any of your other friends to this project. And the reason I asked that question is because we didn't even announce this project yet. I think it just was another drop. Floppy Maxi.
Hello, welcome.
Floppy
Another
Maxi.
That we were doing just like mentioned me. And that led to like this wave of people coming in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, with
What's up?
the reaction has been pretty nuts here so far. What's up, Floppy Maxi? Hey! I love the name. So I think guys, let's just start getting started now. We don't hear you. I think you're on mute, actually. Not yet. They'll come back in a second. I think when Floppy Maxi gets back, let's just start Metaverse Hodler. If you don't mind, just ask away. Feel free to ask any question. Kind of nothing's off limits. We'd love to explain our intention, the reason we did this, and kind of have you guys as the community lead this much more than us. So if someone wants to start just asking some questions, we're here to answer.
Sure. Actually, can you guys kind of just give like a broad overview of what your project is?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been doing this a lot, so we're good at it now. We're going to be the first NFT that actually merges the physical and digital realms through a series of 5 drops that consists of murals at every single drop that will feature an avatar from the community, a narration by Samir Gadia, who you guys all know as the singer of Young Italian, and we got to get a sneak peek of earlier today, as well as animations, music from Peach Neon, who's in the back over there, and many, many other things that are coming soon once we launch the merch store. And we're working on all those things. Some of those teasers you might have seen are like the AR filter for Instagram, which is very small but still very fun. But beyond that, there's an entire universe that we're trying to create. ultimately, we're going to, and this is the long-term vision. Once we launch Oki's World to its reality and build it into what it could be, we have an advisor on our team named Katie Sue. She was the head of marketing at DC Universe and senior VP at Warner Brothers. And we're going to take all the content that we create and try to turn this into something that's more serialized so that the community can continue to stay involved, but see Oki's World actually on a streaming platform to the masses. And it's really exciting. Another factor is that there's a bunch of things we're doing, but one of the most important factors, I think, is when you mint an Oki, you have all commercial rights to that Oki. So the community has actual ownership in our world. And that's something that none of these guys in these big production companies and media sources can do. So we're trying to change that game and really build the next generation of production companies.
It's well put, Kent.
And, is there like a, I guess, so I saw on the website, I guess there's like different chapters you're producing. Is there like a story behind that you guys kind of have planned out, or what's?
Very much.
It's all
very much so.
Actually.
The story arc kind of follows the story of Siddhartha. So the main idea behind Oki is that we wanted to kind of represent something that we feel we've been living ourselves, being entrepreneurs, being artists, and being creators too, is we went through a very similar phase in our lives. So the chapters are broken down as chapter 1 being naive Oki, and gradually growing into what we call the singularity. And it's not necessarily singularity in the way that like futurists talk about it. It's more the culmination and the coming together of all parts of everything. So thought, as well as electricity, as well as technology, as well as the information that has existed to kind of guide us and bring us towards this understanding that we are all Oki. And that's really what we wanted to represent, is this notion that we are all Oki, that all of us share very similar paths and very similar story arcs, even in our personal lives. And hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate that through this story. We kind of took a very whimsical, kind of cutesy approach, more of like an adult children's book, I would say. And yeah, I mean, that's the best way I could sum it up, actually.
What inspired you guys to get into this, and what's your background? I read a little bit of the bios, but yeah, hearing it would be
awesome. Yeah. We all have different backgrounds, actually. Maya, who's our community manager, who hides behind the moniker Oki's World, is a creative also. She's a photographer. She does social media management. She does community management, obviously. And like her core is based in creativity. Same with Peach Neon. Mondo, you want to do like a brief intro of who you are?
Yeah, I do music for a living, composing, film score, longtime friends of Kent and John here. And so we've amassed such a great team, to help present Oki's World in every facet, story, music, animation, everything. So it's a great combination of all these worlds coming together.
And then me on my end.
Actually, one of the
go ahead, Ken.
That scored at Sundance, if anyone's going to Sundance. So, and he's also scored music for film and television, which you've probably seen before. So
awesome.
Yeah, Johnny?
Yeah, no, on my end, like as Mondo said, like just I think the intention and the reason why we started all of this and kind of the who we are is really tied to our friendship above everything else. We're people who just create constantly, even when we're not necessarily producing for the public, we're just creating endlessly. And I think that's like the foundation of us as people. So when Kent, being an artist, gets approached a lot for NFT projects, I come from the tech space. And I think that one of the reasons it's taken us so long to actually enter with an NFT project is because none of them feel right yet. The technology is incredible. The purpose of it as just a pure concept is incredible. But as we've all seen, there's a lot of these kind of short-term thinkers out there that are creating these NFT projects and through the hype, convincing people that maybe don't have the tools to understand really what they're investing or buying into, to spend a lot of money on things that inevitably lose them money. And we're trying to do the exact opposite of that. We're really hoping to have long-term longevity, longevity with our community and build something that adds value back to the community. So I know everyone talks about this, but I don't know, Ken, can we just talk about it now and tell the group who showed up?
I think this is like the most exciting part of it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Our main thing here, so we were looking at Bored Apes Yacht Club because it's the example of all of these PFP projects. And what we started noticing is that there's these kind of like weird derivatives that are emerging out of them. So there's Whack Whack Island, which actually is a very nice project. The art is very nice and they wrote an interesting story. Then there's this one that is not my favorite called Desperate Apes Yacht Club, I think, something like that, which the founders literally said, we put a wig on your favorite apes, and they raised millions of dollars. But the most interesting part about Bored Apes Yacht Club is their commercial rights agreement built into the smart contract. So when you actually own a Bored Ape, you're able to do whatever you want with it. You could print shirts, you can sell coffee mugs, you can kind of do whatever you want. And we were looking at that and thinking how interesting that is, but it's still lacking the incubation side of it. Like, how is that adding value to the community outside of just leveraging merchandising through the community or these derivatives? So what we came to was that we wanted to build utility out of our avatars and our Oki NFTs. And so the way that it breaks down is that there's essentially 3 core parts to our community. There are the consumers, people who more prefer to just be passive and actually take in this content that all of us are spending a lot of effort and energy building. And then there's the creators. And then there's a third part of it, which is kind of the studio executive room. And people who own Oki NFTs will be able to vote on whether or not community projects will be able to be launched through Oki's community that we're creating here. But it doesn't just stop at the artistic side or the marketing side or the community side. We will actually provide all of the same tech that we created for the first mint to the community as well. And the way that you get approved and the way that you're able to actually launch your own Oki derivative and extend on the story of Oki's world is by being approved by that same community of NFT holders. And we intentionally will not take a single dollar or percent of First Mint. We take everything on royalties and back end, and it's a very small percent of secondary market. And we did that on purpose because we want to encourage Oki's world to turn into something bigger than we could have ever thought of on our own.
Awesome. So question, it sounds like you guys are taking a really long-term approach to this, which is super awesome, and have been like really thoughtful about it. And you have a really relatively large team actually. So how are you funding it currently? And
with a lot of sleepless nights and sweat.
Black circles
Black
under our eyes.
Not at bars, but
pretty much more than anything. Because all of us are creators, because all of us are professional within the realms that we contribute to the project. Most of what we're doing is through the idea of sweat equity. We don't really need much funding. And the funding that we do need, we obviously put in, but we intentionally do not buy advertising. The only incentives we give to any of our influencers are part of the 250 VIP Oki NFTs. We don't spend any money because longevity to us means not just inflating the hype. It's a big part of this, and it's necessary. It's a necessary evil. But we really do believe that there's something much bigger and greater than just the individual parts of this. So funding has never really been an issue for us. All of us have I'm on the tech side, Mondo's on the music side, Kent's on the art and art direction side. And we've been able to create an incredible team of people who really believe in the vision of we are all Oki.
That's awesome. And do you guys all know each other, or how did you guys get together?
Yeah, we've known each other for over like a decade. So we probably longer, probably 15 years. Mondo and I used to work at a music studio together. One of the first illustration art gigs I did was a children's book and like children's branding for the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. And Mondo was making a bunch of music with the CEO of that company. And then we all kind of broke off of Coffee Bean to start Wava Studios, which was an affiliate of Sony. And that's where a lot of like that creative music side started. John, I know through my college roommate, we connected instantly because in college we would, just get stupid and sing songs, and we were like the weird improv art kids. So we did all that while like making all these different projects on our own. And I think in general it works out so well because it seems like what we're creating now and why we're so excited, and everyone on the team's just willing to put in all these hours every single day. Is it's like a culmination of all of our like life's work we've been doing, whether it's like the music or like the tech for the last 10 years that John's been doing, the music that Mondo's been doing his whole life, the art I've been doing my whole life, and like the business stuff. It's like all that experience is culminating into this. So, I mean, we're super, I know there's not that many people in this AMA, but we're like,
we're so happy that even you guys can.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even expect anyone. I was saying before you guys all showed up that like, let's just use it because we're recording this call. So let's just use it as an opportunity to answer a lot of the standard questions that we get. But
we haven't, I'm going to repeat this again, but we haven't even announced this project. So there's over 1,000 people in our Discord that came out of
nowhere,
wherever it came out of, and everyone's engaging. It's like crazy to us. We'll do a serious announcement next week. And because we do have a bunch of celebrities associated with this that are gonna like talk about it, but like this initial community is who we want to drive the vibe for like the future also. So it's super important. And we're super grateful that you guys are here.
Well, I mean, I like that on Twitter and like the art, and like also people are really nice. So it sounds like you guys are super genuine. So I'm really excited for.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have been yesterday. We were getting the beginning of some trolling, and the community naturally regulated. And the person who was trying to like make jokes and troll, he just kind of he left himself. No one like kicked him out, but it was obvious that the community was like, yo, what are you doing, man? We're here for a real reason. And it's so nice to see because I come from the ICO days, the very, very early days of the ICOs, and there's just so much nonsense out there. So to see that our community is already kicking in and trying to make this an authentic experience and feeling the energy that we're putting out there is so meaningful and important to us.
Amazing. Somebody else wants you to speak. Sorry.
No, ask as many questions as you want.
Yeah, like that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Also, just to go ahead. I was just gonna say, like anyone else that we bring on, like big celebrities and all these people, they sort of like all share the same sort of passion and authenticity, like all of us. I think that's a big part too, because anyone can bring on any big kind of name, but it's just what matters is the authenticity, the wholesomeness, and sort of like the belief that we can all sort of like bring our professions along. And I forgot my train of thought. I just sort of just blanked. But I think the overlooked part is these bigger players that are out there that control a lot of the space, and we're sort of that smaller player. But I think with what we have packaged and assembled, I think we can do a lot of good for this NFT space, which I'm still learning about myself. So it's great to have a lot of resources and people like John and Kent to help me along.
Is this your guys' first NFT project that you've done?
No, I was one of the first people to launch an NFT with Crypto.com in Clubhouse. And then I also launched an NFT with the New York mayoral candidacy. Okay. And I'm doing something with the DAO right now. But all those projects, so the reason that's another reason why we want, and also John's from the ICO days, so he's been like, he goes way, way back. in this crypto world. But the reason we want to do this is because all those projects, one, the crypto.com, like, it stays here, but they're like such a bad platform. Like they're in it for the money and nothing else, it feels. So a lot of the, like after that first drop, we just kind of, I kind of moved away from them because I know I could have made money, but it just didn't. The artistic integrity didn't make sense. The New York mayoral candidacy, I painted a physical mural for them, and the NFT made way more money
than the actual labor of painting the wall from his creation. It's crazy.
Yeah, it all got donated to a good cause for like anti-Asian, not anti. How do you say? Wait, Asian
anti-Asian hate. Yeah, not anti-Asians, but against Asian hate. Yeah.
But Landau, it's cool to be part of a community, but I think that community is so different from this one that we wanted to cultivate, not like crypto bros.
Yeah,
cultivate
to a certain degree, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but to a certain degree, this project is kind of a reflection of our mea culpa moment. Like, we didn't know better in the early days of ICOs. It was hard to know which way things were going because you didn't know who was real and fake. And 80 to 90% of the companies that I was interacting with disappeared. Some of them because of really malicious reasons, and others just because they didn't have any strategy or plan for the future. I'm seeing a lot of similarities in the NFT space right now. And, when someone comes to you and says, hey, as an artist, I want to actually share and give you a platform, even more than the money, it's very interesting. So I think that like what you're all seeing and experiencing right now is based on tremendous amounts of experience of what we don't like out of these spaces. And it's not our only decision making filter. Like, don't get me wrong, because we do have aspirations greater than just doing things different than what's, not nice. But at the same time, we have a pretty tremendous amount of experience of things that don't sit right with us, and we're trying to use that as our guiding light. And it's everything from as Mondo was saying, it's everything from the types of people we involve in the project as well. So like, if we're going to try to bring in influencers or try to bring in big names within the crypto or NFT space, we make sure that they align with our values, because the alternative is we go to market, potentially we make, $5 to $10 million, like we've all seen these campaigns do, and we just disappear. But that doesn't sit right with us. So we're trying to do something a little bit bigger and a little bit more aware that just because there's this bubble doesn't mean that the technology or that the platform for distribution is bad in itself. It's not.
You also, so earlier you mentioned that you were going to make, I believe you said that each Oki would be kind of open to the community in terms of how it's used. So are you using like, is there a particular like open source license you're using for that, or what's kind of like how does that work?
It's standard commercial rights licensing.
Okay.
So in our clause, you have full commercial rights to the Okis that you mint.
I see.
Yeah,
and just the ones you meant. So does that make it so that you guys wouldn't be able to use some of the Okis? How would that work? Or other people wouldn't be able to use Okis that the other people minted?
We're still working through some of those things, because it's a great question. We literally just this weekend started coming up with these concepts and moving in this direction. I think what's more important to us, even more, because it also has to do with intention. So like, us as founders of the project, we would never position the community to get any type of issues around this. But more so than that, what we're really trying to do is create the technical platform and the marketing platform for the community themselves to expand and create derivatives. We want to see creation out of this, not just repurposing of the content and copyrights that we're creating and the IP that we're creating. We really want to see where you see Oki's world, because I'm sure once the community starts consuming the content, it will resonate with you. Like everyone we've spoken to about this story, loses it when they hear the Siddhartha comparisons and that story arc. And
Okies. There's a reason there's infinite Okies, well, 10,000, but like,
those 10,000 avatars are built into the story. That's not just a random avatar thing. That's actual. We are all Oki. We all represent another reflection on different parts of us, and we all have the capacity for different elements of life too. So there is no good or evil in the story of Oki. We are all one. We're all part of the same thing, and we'd love to see where the community takes that story.
We want people to create,
Yeah.
We repeat like the whole like next generation production company idea. Like, I don't like using the word company really, but it's like we want to be like the next generation creative studio in that regard, where all these things are not like, you can't own a Marvel character, and like DC and all these guys can't do any of that stuff anymore, because there's no way they're going to give that IP up to the community. But for us, we're here like to like cultivate this, like you guys, and this idea of we are all Oki, and the more that gets created, like based on how the community approaches it and how the community like depending on what the community wants out of the proposals, it's infinite.
And can you guys go over, so there's 10,000 Okies, I understand. How were they generated? Is it like a random generation process, or?
So it's twofold. It's one part random generation of artwork, and then the second part of it is curation. So Kent, being the head artist, will actually go through and pick one by one all of those 10,000 to make sure that they're the highest quality ones.
That's a super rare one.
Don't show that one. He's gonna show us some sneak peek stuff just for you guys. So just getting back to your question.
This we basically drew out like over 250 different asset types and probably more, including different backgrounds that exist and that evolve with the story, as well as animations that we're going to try to incorporate into this as the drops go forth. And those are all going to be inputted into our system to be generated into a series of avatars. And that's all going to still go through a curation process. And we're still talking about it, but for all those who stay till drop 4, drop 5, I think every avatar is not even going to be generated. So I'm not going to speak too quickly, but we're trying to make it so it's as unique as possible. The longer you stay.
I will just add, every avatar is a one of one. So the way that we created our algorithm is no two avatars or PFPs are the same. But they are generatively created, and we define rarities for different types of properties. So imagine that certain types of horns, like precious metals, might be more rare versus other types of more common properties that you'd see. And that's built into the structure of the community creation and curation. So what does that mean is, as the studio executive, right, as the holder of the NFT, if you have NFTs with more rare properties, you have higher voting powers and more permissions. It's a balance, because definitely we don't want to create an unfair system where one or two people have all of the control and no one else does. But there are going to be some really unique mechanics within this that will allow you to have more or less control depending on the types of Oki NFTs that you have too.
One last question for me. What does success look like for you on this project?
Oh, what a question.
I have my answer. I want to hear your answer, Kent, before I say anything.
My answer? Okay. Success for me is for Oki's world to be Oki to be everywhere. That's, I think, so the dream that I pitch to people is, once the drops are completed and we cultivate this community, being able to take all the content that we created and be the first serialized show on any of these streaming platforms or television. And that's still going to even include a community element, because all the people that are involved are going to have their avatars being placed into this actual show. The long-term dream, and that's the dream with Oakie's World, the long-term dream is we are able to take this process and launch more stories, launch more in this universe of Okie, and continue to expand on that world. Almost like I keep using Marvel as an example, although it's different, but like the same way Marvel created an entire universe, like I think we could create an entire universe with all these different stories with actual ownership by the community.
Yeah. And that's like, that last part is what makes me the most excited, like how I can sustain myself without sleeping, because the way that we've been talking about this reminds me very much of the early days of iPhone app stores and Google Play stores. The whole purpose of it was to empower a community of people to create things beyond the imagination of the creators themselves. And to me, that is the most exciting thing here, because if we can give, when in the new world, if you want to distribute something, there are some technical limitations. So if we could give everything that we've created during this phase of our Okie NFT launch over to the community, and to actually have them be part of the reason why things are becoming bigger, and not charging for that service. We don't want money for that. We want to actually encourage that. We do need to fund it. That's why we're taking secondary sale royalties. But in the short term, to be able to give someone the ability to say, look, if you want to create a new Okie NFT project or create new merchandise, and if it nets, $1 million in sales, that's yours. That's for you to go and do something with. And that's very analogous to me with how the App Store's original intention was. They just happened to take 30% of every sale. So it's like really unmanageable for a lot of business models. But for me, that's what success looks like. That one day I wake up and Okie's World has been extended into all of these different directions, and the integrity of the brand has been maintained by the same community that helped get it to that point. And things are showing up that we never even knew were going to exist. That is what success is for me with this project.
That sounds awesome.
Great. I wanted to interject because Samuel had a question, and his question was, will there be any perks for owning one of every chapter Okie at the end of the mints?
It's a wonderful question, and the answer is yes. It's built into the mechanics of, we're trying to actually decide whether or not it's a point system or what that reference is, but it's built into the mechanics of how these NFTs are stored within your wallet and how that wallet accesses the services on the back end. So the more Okies you have, and collecting one from each chapter, and having more rarities, and will culminate into more control over the community ultimately.
Great.
There's also other perks. I'm just going to point out there's other perks, and I mentioned it a little bit, but you're like, for people that own certain, well, all the avatars have their own like special properties, but depending on how you're engaged with the community and all these different point systems that we are working out, for every single drop, those murals and animations and everything we're creating, it like at a certain point there'll be your avatar on there.
Yeah.
Like we just have to set a time frame and everything.
So but like a physical mural will have your Okie in it.
We're still deciding, but like, and your Discord name or whatever signature alongside mine on that wall. And we're also doing something where if you visit all 5 of the murals, we have this. We're trying to set up
a geocache where if you actually go through the trouble of following the chapters to all the murals throughout the world, and like, this is all fake. We know that Los Angeles is our first mural, but let's just use for sake of conversation, London and Tokyo and all these metropolitan cities. And if you go through the chapters in order through the digital geocaches, you will unlock something very, very special, unique, rare, and physically valuable.
Is that something that only like the first person who gets to it gets, or is that,
it's a Willy Wonka kind of scheme? Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be cool. The merch store is going to be so cool too. Oh man, John, I'm wondering if you talk about, because it's not finalized yet, and it might take a little bit of time, like the whole token thing.
We have aspirations to add a token, but we're trying to figure out the best way to do it. Because we're all based out of the States. There's a lot of regulation around creating tokens and stuff, but it is an aspiration of ours, and we do want to build it into our roadmap. We just want to think through it more and be more thoughtful about it. So it is definitely something that we plan to do. We just have to decide how it's being used. But it would be a wonderful thing if we could figure out in a legally ethical way how to give liquidity behind NFTs, because I think that's one of the most difficult parts of NFTs for a lot of people.
Have you guys looked at NFTX?
We're looking at a lot of different partners right now, but we haven't settled on anything yet.
Okay.
Yes.
We don't even know what we want the token to do yet.
Yeah, we're talking to our advisors and but basically the idea is like especially everyone that's here now, like there should be, some upside, like more upside for being in early and owning emojis, and we're like that's like one of the big pillars that we're trying to build out as much as possible. We just need to do it in the proper way.
Okay. We have two more questions in the chat. Another one from Samuel. With the price of Ethereum going up insanely recently, will the mint price stay at 0.08 Ethereum along the road, or decrease with time if Ethereum continues to increase?
I think it's a great question, and we get hit with this a lot. And in fact, actually, some of our advisors who have more experience in the ICO and NFT space were telling us to launch all 10,000 simultaneously because of exactly that question. Volatility is a thing. For us, the price of Ethereum pegged against the dollar should not impact the value of what this community is getting access to, and it will always stay the same on purpose. The same way that originally we had thought that our special edition animated NFTs will be 6 Ethereum. We decided that it will stay 0.08 Ethereum and ETH, and we did that on purpose because we don't think that we're overpriced. We don't think that we're underpriced. We think we're perfect at market, and hopefully the community understands that too. If we have to modulate, we will, but I don't think we'll have to do that. Volatility is real in the crypto space.
Yeah. Some other communities that we're a part of that are having discussions are like, let's bump it up to 0.25 so that we can take it. It's like, we're never going to do that.
We're never going to do that. Yeah.
So you'll have to worry about like us increasing price just so we could like make sense of a capital means, because that's secondary or tertiary rather even to everything else. So. You can ask as many questions as you want. It's why we're here.
There's also another question. What will the money from the first mint be used for, if not for the team?
It's a great question.
Actually, going back to that.
So first of all, we just want another meal other than Top Ramen. It's the first thing. No, it's a total joke. Ken, I think you could answer this better because it has to do with more like production and stuff.
Yeah. So some of it is going back to the team, not necessarily like us, like the core team that are here, but the people that are helping us. So like whether it's like the animators or the people helping us set up the billboard, for example, all these people that are basically like trusting us to like build something without having to take any money right now. We'll make sure that we pay them back. So that's one. 2 is we're going to try. So getting murals and procuring walls is actually a pretty expensive process, and getting a team to do that. So it's going to go into that. Getting a full animation team to be able to get it to that final stage where we want to launch it as a pilot into a serialized production is going to take. Animation takes a tremendous amount of effort, as you guys all probably know. And so building a team around that is going to be important, as well as a full creative team to be able to build out the merch store, to build out like the geocaching, the technology, getting like to the point where like we have devs to build out the token, legal is extremely expensive. So being able to do things in the right way so we can maintain the longevity of this project. And then on top of that, all the different perks within the roadmaps that we have laid out, we're going to continue to add to that. Like that roadmap is set at the base levels, which means we're going to do all those things, but that doesn't mean we're not going to do more than all those things.
Yeah.
You know.
And just to add to that a little bit, like when we say the team is getting part of this, as the founders, like some of the people own parts of the organization that's creating this, but we don't plan to cash out in that way. When we say team, we mean the creative team. So all of the people involved in making sure that we can actually deliver value back to the community, but empower the community to deliver value back to the community. One of the most beautiful parts of crypto is the way it's supposed to be used in the kind of like, I would say, idealistic view of crypto and blockchain, is that things are supposed to be transparent. So everyone should be seeing how we're spending money. It's built into our smart contract. 1% of everything we do is going towards charity. We're going to be launching with a platform called MetaGood, which is the technical platform and the protocol that came out of a project called On-Chain Monkeys. And it has a huge sustainability element behind it because, mining crypto is not always the cleanest thing for the environment right now. So we do want to offset some of those things we're doing. So immediately 1% of secondary is reserved for, and don't quote me on this because so many things are changing daily, but that's where our heads are at right now. 1% of secondary will be reserved for a charitable element. 1% will be reserved for the launch pad to actually help incubate these community projects and provide resources to people who want to create an animation or who want to create their own Oki stories. At the end of the day, we hope to build something much bigger than ourselves. We will definitely eventually start compensating ourselves, but more as employees, I would say, than pulling out, like if we did the full sale and the value would be around $2 million or more than that. Not all of us have agreed we are keeping it within the organization so that we can continue growing the story. So none of us are here to just take the money and buy a yacht and disappear kind of thing.
Where will the secondary market happen? Are you guys building out a marketplace for that? Will it be OpenSea? Do you have any plans for how you're going to handle that?
Yeah, we're just leaving. I mean, it's open to wherever you can sell an NFT. So most of them are happening on OpenSea, but there might be more in the.
So you guys have a royalty attached to the Okies. Is that how did you guys create the contract for that?
7.5% of secondary is our royalty, and so 2% right now is being reserved for charity and for the launchpad.
I see. Did you guys use like OpenSea to create the contract for that, or
no? The first mint will happen on our website, and then anything sold after that will be on secondary marketplaces like OpenSea. So we created the smart contract, and the way that you access it is by sending Ethereum through your MetaMask wallet, and then the NFT gets sent directly back to you in real time. So first mint will happen directly on okies.world, the website.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. We're also talking with a platform called Open, OP3N. It's founded by the people who started or who managed 88 Rising and co-founded them. So we might do something with them as well. But yeah, like John said, we leave it open to, it's built into the smart contract. So we leave it open to everyone here. I
also want to make it clear, in no way, shape, or form are we a DAO, because the voting power that we're talking about is not at the organizational level, and we have our own philosophical reasons for why we feel DAOs don't deliver on their promise. What we're really talking about is the ability to contribute towards the creative process. But we're hiring really, really kind of special and important people to us who we have a lot of trust and faith in that can guide at different levels of the project and the stages we're at. Financial managers, legal teams, administrative managers, and the entire creative team and technical team behind it too. This in order for us to actually achieve our mission and our vision, there is a lot of infrastructure required to do this well and to make sure that we're transparent along every way.
Sorry, I'm smiling because Julia sent this animation text. And it was freaking embarrassing. So I'm just like getting so excited. Julia's on right now. She's the one leading the animation front.
Hi, Julia.
Well,
Hey guys.
yo.
Hey.
And she's making some, just like every day, the content that we're creating is just so awesome.
Crazier and crazier.
It's getting crazier and crazier for your approach launch. So,
were there any other questions?
I think that's it for me.
Awesome.
I have one. What do you think is the most challenging part of just starting this entire process up?
To be honest, nothing. Like, I've been having a great time. It's not. It's challenging.
It's like 3 a.m. or whatever. Like whatever time zone. We're just like screaming ideas to each other and then just buckling down.
Yeah.
Getting it done.
I think for me, I'm not going to talk on anyone else's behalf, but for me, the most challenging part is reminding myself. I have a saying, which is win. It's what's important now. Because it gets really easy to start thinking about, whoa, what if we sold, $4 million worth of NFTs? We could create so many incredible things. But that's, to be honest, really distracting from what our vision and mission is. So I think that's the most challenging thing for me, is just buckling down, keeping reality, and reminding myself, and hopefully the rest of the team as well, like, we're here for a mission, and we have a job to get done, and we have responsibility to our community to actually see you later, Floppy Maxi, to actually, build something that we intended to create. So I think that's probably the hardest part, but I don't mean it as a joke. It's challenging only because it's new, but because of this team, it's super fun to learn things together and to figure out the challenges together. So I don't feel it is a very challenging project. It's just flowed. We started, aside from our talents that, have a long tail of close to 10 to 15 years each, we started this 3 weeks ago. Like, the fact that even you guys are in here is mind blowing to me.
Cool. Yeah. The framework's been being laid out for a long time. I have old Okies.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. Is like, don't get me wrong. Like, we officially pulled the trigger 3 weeks ago, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Also, time kind of disappeared.
A lot of like the just real building out of everything has been in a very short time span.
Yeah.
But the planning and strategy always takes a long time. I think that's the case with almost anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, I was wondering if you could please explain the verification process again, just to kind of remind everyone and let everyone know what steps they need to take in case they may have missed one.
Yeah, totally. So first, you register on the site, www.okies.world. From there, you get a verification email through our mailing system. We're just using MailChimp. And once you subscribe, there's a set of tasks. The first one is to follow us on Twitter. The second one is to join our Discord. All of you are here for a reason. We ask you, if you're as an optional, to just tweet and kind of share the love and, let the world know that we exist. And then from there, we go and do a manual verification to verify who is part of that first 500 list to actually receive an Oki. And I can tell you wholeheartedly, right now we're just above around 1,000 people in our community here. In our mailing list, we're around 700. But there are some duplicates and stuff. So that's why we haven't announced directly who those first 500 are yet, is because we want to make sure that it's not, the same person getting 10 Okis for free.
Yeah. Also, people need to follow us, like the Twitter and like it needs the email sign up, the Twitter, all the numbers don't match up.
Yeah.
So we need to cross-validate everything.
Cool. If there are no more questions, I kind of want to just use this time to get some feedback and some comments. What do you think we could do better that you've observed so far? What types of things do you like that we're doing? Just kind of have more of an open dialogue.
Floppy Maxi is asking if it's a problem that their Twitter account has a different name than the Discord and email. I would imagine not, but if you have a different answer.
No, not at all. We're just gonna, basically the way we're gonna do the verification is send you an email with a set of tasks through a form, and you help us do the verification for you. So you could use whatever handles you're using already.
Hey, excuse me, a quick question.
Yeah.
Hi. For the next chapters that are coming up, will there be any like change in the eyes of the Okies? Because I seem to see like they all have like closed eyes. Will the different chapters have different traits than the first?
You just made me the happiest person in the world that you even noticed that. That's like crazy that you even noticed that to me. Wow, you blew my mind right now. The answer is yes.
Yes. The short answer is yes. Long answer is it's embedded into the story in some capacity, in a big capacity. So you'll see.
Okay. Thank you.
It's thematic.
That was a really good question.
Damn, that's so cool. Like that just adds so much purpose to what we're doing. Because like we're sitting around, we're the biggest Oki nerds you will ever meet. Well, hopefully we're not the biggest Oki nerds you'll ever meet, but for now we're the biggest Oki nerds you'll ever meet. And like the level of thought that goes into every single decision, like whether or not his eyes should be open or closed, we talk about extensively, and we kind of like go through the motions of figuring that out. So that you notice that is really, really meaningful, and genuinely I appreciate that, and I'm sure the rest of the team does as well.
Yeah, we'd also love to hear if there's just anything you want to see in general in our community. Just to reiterate what Jonathan was saying, because we really do want to build a strong foundation, and we want to build it with you.
If you do think of something in the future, feel free to just message in the general or the recommendations channel. But yeah, are there any last questions? We have another 8 minutes before the session's over.
We're gonna make more Oki emojis and Giphies. So
do you guys have a plan for when you launch them? I know you said that you're going to kind of make an announcement next week, but do you have kind of a plan or roadmap for how you're going to kind of market it in the beginning?
Most of it is through influencers and ambassadors. Like we're not doing any paid advertising at all right now. We might have, depending on how things go, maybe we'll change our direction, but we don't feel like it's the right approach for this. So everything is very community driven. We're in the process of building a referral program into Discord. So the more people you invite, we're able to track that, and then we'll reward you with incentives and points. And we really do want our marketing to be community driven, because that's how we feel you'll take the strongest ownership. Like aside from just owning an Oki NFT, if you see the numbers growing, I think, our community themselves will feel a really strong sense of ownership over this. The other way is, and I just kind of want to plant this as a seed, a lot of people have been asking us for the PFPs themselves so that they can start using them in Discord and Twitter and things. We're not necessarily comfortable releasing the final Okis yet. So what we did was we created a couple of more like silhouette style illustrations, similar to what we have on our Twitter and what my avatar is, and we're creating it in different colors as well. So we're hoping that the community will get behind that to create this really mass effect where someone will be kind of confused why they keep seeing the same character everywhere.
I got another quick question before I gotta go. For the because on the website it has the first 500 Okies are free, just pay gas there. Has that been like confirmed? Has like the 500 people been like verified that their emails been checked and they've done all the Twitter following and stuff like that? Has that been finalized yet? Or are you guys still revising the list?
We're still verifying. I wouldn't say revising. We're still verifying the list because we have inconsistencies in the numbers. So our Discord has over 1,000 people. Our Twitter has 700 something, and our email list is 720, if I remember correctly. So because of those discrepancies, we want to just make sure that it's not the same person registering so many times and being very fair. I don't know when you tuned in. My background's from the ICO world, and there was all of these referral programs. And one of the main issues that you had in those types of referral programs were hundreds or sometimes thousands of duplicates coming from bots and malicious systems that were just trying to game the system. So we've intentionally not announced that. In order, though, to compensate for that too, because a lot of people are asking that question over and over again, we will be adding some giveaways. So even if you don't get part of the first 500, there are still more opportunities to get free Okies.
Yeah, going off of that, there's one going on our Instagram right now. If you use our Okimoji filter, you have a chance to win one yourself. So we highly recommend
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Also,
Go ahead.
Also, you guys could ask questions from what in
Yeah.
general and suggestions.
We're always here. I mean, like, we go MIA once in a while just because we're heads down working, but like we're always here to answer your questions. Cool. Well, if there's yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say we have 4 minutes left, but if we don't have any more questions, we could give everyone back 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes.
It's so awesome. I mean, like, to me, this is the craziest thing ever because it's so awesome to actually be able to talk to all of you. And we asked if you wanted to see our faces. We didn't know, but we're happy that someone said yes because we felt it was important that you see the people behind this. And it's just such a pleasure to talk to real humans on the other side of the metaverse. Like, pretty freaking cool, guys. And we'll do more of these, and don't feel like this is the last time you have access to us because it's not. But just thank you so much. Like, I think that's the best way to end this is thank you guys so much for showing up and being active in the community and inviting people into it and actually believing in what we're trying to create here.
Yeah, it's been great seeing you
Thank
for
you.
the first time. I came in really early, and it's just by coincidence, but I'm really happy to be part of the whole community here.
Thank you so
We're
much.
happy you're
Thank
here.
you.
That's great.
Trade.
If there is an ask on that from you guys, bring more people like you guys into the community.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's going to be the most important. At the end of the
Authentic
day.
people
Like,
who really believe in the longevity of NFTs and the medium for expression. And part of the medium for expression for us is the ability to give value back to you guys. So hopefully we could actually even earn, some revenue for you as individuals, as creators. And if not, we can create incredible content and help you actually enjoy life better, because that's why we're doing this as well. Cool. See you guys.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much.
yeah, thanks everyone.
Talk soon.
Bye bye.
Good night, Okies.
Bye. Good night, Okies.
Thanks, everyone.
See you.
Yeah.
Good night, Okies.